on behalf of the entire Health Science Center family, I want to welcome you to this celebration of the life of David Kaplan. I want especially to recognize David's family, his wife Anne, children Sarah, Noah's here, Becca and Andrew, David's sister Esther Verona, and I want to extend a special greeting to David's mother, Alfreda, who cannot be with us today, but as I understand it, she will see the videotape of this service, so we welcome her also. Finally, let me welcome all of you, David Kaplan's friends, faculty and other colleagues, former students, house officers, and rheumatology fellows. I'm so pleased that so many of you could join us today to honor David. A graduate of Johns Hopkins School of Medicine with subsequent training in medicine and rheumatology at Bellevue and Columbia Presbyterian Hospitals, David joined the faculty of the then Downstate Medical Center as an assistant professor of medicine in 1961. He rose to the rank of professor of medicine in 1974, served here as chief of rheumatology in 2 stints, the first from 1972 to 77, and then again 1982 and 83. As do a number of you, I will remember him best in his role as assistant dean of the College of Medicine, a position that he held from 1972 to 1991. He was responsible during that time for counseling the 4th-year students about residency positions, and he was also responsible for writing all of the dean's letters, certainly an onerous chore in itself. But the format of David's letters did become a model that has been emulated by other schools around the country. In addition, it was David Kaplan who took the responsibility, and I should underscore that he took it very seriously and very personally, to help those students who did not match. Many of our former students, I think, will remember him fondly and be ever grateful to him for helping them find positions. There's probably no more distressed student you can find in medical school than one who is notified the day before the match that he is among the unmatched students. David was widely recognized by his peers in his chosen field, having served as president of the New York Rheumatism Association in 1973 and 74, and on the editorial board of the Journal of Arthritis and Rheumatism from 1981 to 85, and on Mayor Koch's Health Advisory Panel from 1979 to 1990. David's colleagues here at the Health Science Center will honor him by dedicating the Rheumatology Library on the 6th floor of the Basic Science Building in his name. This, I think, is a fitting tribute because it will house a collection of texts, slides, and video programs in rheumatology for the use of the residents, fellows, and rheumatology staff. David Kaplan was a very special part of the Health Science Center family, a unique combination of a skilled and sensitive clinician, a highly respected and valued teacher, and in his role as a dean, a wise and concerned counselor. We gather here today to celebrate David Kaplan's life and his contributions to the lives of others. It's now my privilege to introduce the chairman of the Department of Medicine, Dr. Stephen Kaplan.
Thank you very much, Dick. It's also a pleasure to be asked to just add a few words to Dr. Schwartz's eloquent and complete introduction. What I thought I would do is just spend a moment or two with some personal reflection. I've only been a member of the Health Science Center community now for about 7.5 years. Dave Kaplan was one of the first faculty that I was privileged to meet because we kept similar and unusual hours. And I ran into him one night outside the nursing station on nursing station 62, and he introduced himself, and I did the same. He said, "Oh, by the way, I have a patient here. Would you come take a look at this young woman with lupus?" And we forged a interesting collegial friendship from that moment on. I had the opportunity to see him at work, and that he did most completely and most fully. He worked very hard, and it took me several years to realize that he was quite ill for many of the last years of his life, but it never deterred him from teaching students, teaching residents, teaching fellows, doing more than his share in the clinic, on the wards. He never shirked an assignment because of ill health, and I think he provided a role model for all of us to see a clinician scientist working through adversity. On the occasion of his retirement from active service at the State University, he actively dissuaded the department from having a celebration in his honor and said, "I'm leaving, but I'm not," and that was true. He continued to work at the Health Science Center on a volunteer basis in the rheumatology clinic and on his research projects, and assumed the division chief leadership of rheumatology at Long Island College Hospital in his last year and a half of life or so. So that despite his departure from our salaried faculty ranks, he continued to actively contribute. I think he was a unique, kind, and gentle human being with a broad spectrum of knowledge, a broad spectrum of interest, and he made a sustained contribution that all of us will continue to feel for many years. The David Kaplan Rheumatology Library will be a visible memento of his efforts. I hope it will contain a volume of his contributions to the medical literature for all future generations to refer to. And I would just end on a most personal note. When Dr. Schwartz circulated the memorandum this past fall of my appointment to the chair, Dave Kaplan sent me back a copy of it, and he had scribbled a little note on it and said, "Dear Steve, congratulations." He said, "I see you've been named chair of the department." He said, "Had you been a gastroenterologist, would they have called you the stool?" And I think on that note, thank you all for coming. We should all remember David with a note of wry humor. Thank you.
I will echo the sentiments that have already been made. It is certainly fitting that we've all come together to honor the memory of David Kaplan. He was a unique individual whose impact on this institution, his students, colleagues, family, and friends will be felt for a long time to come. Although David was personally modest, there's no doubt that he was deeply passionate about his role as teacher, physician, patient advocate, and supporter of occasionally unpopular causes. He had a strong sense of humility and intellectual honesty. He was remarkable for the obvious good humor and courage with which he faced a long and complicated illness, treating it as an inconvenience, but never a reason to demand less of himself, personally or professionally. In this spirit, we dedicate the David Kaplan Rheumatology Library, which we hope will be a source for new ideas and a place of intellectual achievement. As we proceed with this memorial, you will hear from other members of the faculty who will describe aspects of David's career, and whose reminiscences, I hope, should paint a vivid picture of the man as we knew him and will remember him. First, like to ask Dr. Charles Plotz to come up and speak to you. Dr. Plotz is founding member of the rheumatology division.
As David's boyhood friend sitting out there, Henry Proteus, can probably recognize, since we're neighbors, I've been wearing that shirt for 20 years. I've been asked to tell you about the beginning with David, which was virtually the beginning of rheumatology here at Downstate. As the good book might say, in the beginning there was nothing. There was no rheumatology at Downstate, and darn little in Brooklyn or even in New York. Ludwig Eichner was chairman of medicine then. He decided that we'd better have some rheumatology here. And so he called on the only rheumatologist that he knew, namely me, and said, start a section, start a division. Well, okay, start it. But the first thing I had to do was to recruit some people. And over the first few years, I was lucky. I recruited 3 absolutely outstanding individuals. There was Stanley Wallace, David Kaplan, and Don McGurk. Only Don. From there was no stopping the rheumatology department. But I want to confine my remarks to recruiting David. David's scientific and intellectual abilities were obvious, and they'll be made obvious to you in speakers that follow. But I didn't know what kind of person he really was, so when I was interviewing him, we were trying to sell each other on his coming here. I said to David that I know all about your science. I said, but tell me, what are you mainly interested in? And it didn't take him a second before he gave me a one-word